On a night where some athletes cherished their first ever Diamond League title, others picked up fourth, fifth titles, others struggled, and some, Zurich was nothing more than a final tune-up for Tokyo. For a few, the stakes were clear: win, and you punch your ticket to the World Championships, but not everyone delivered. Brittany Brown did, Yared Naguse, Josh Howie, Kenny Harrison. They needed big wings, they couldn't do it. Leighton and I are back tonight to unpack the Diamond League final. And how are you doing, Leighton?
I'm good. I'm good. Busy day as usual. Busy week actually. So I want to first of all apologize to the people on my channel that I haven't posted much this week. This back to school thing is crazy. So I've been busy with that, and so we'll get back to regular posting in the next few days once we get all of that back to school stuff out of the way. So
No, for sure,
but,
sure. I'm sure they're looking forward to your stuff. And don't forget to subscribe to Leighton's channel and also mine. He has some cool stuff over on his channel, things on basketball. He has I think your latest video is from the coach, right?
From Doug Case with Tyrese Taylor, how he dropped from 145 to 143.7. Which would have been 7th today. That's how good the 800
Yeah, the 800 today was ridiculous, and one Yoni as usual. But we'll get into that. I guess what we should start off with is Julian Alfred. Julian Alfred lined up in the 100-meter. Her return, she hadn't raced for a while. It wasn't the smoothest of start, but somehow, she got out there and she delivered what can only be considered a standout performance there, beating Tia Clayton there, who I thought ran really well until Julian took control of the race. And the race wasn't without incident. Marie-Josée Talou, a bit of a false start, holding things up at the start. But once they got running, Alfred got into that. It was all Alfred. Your thoughts on that? And I'll get up the things on the screen for sure. Yeah.
Well, first thing, Marie-Josée Talou apparently was reinstated for third today as well. 10:92. When I looked at the race, I didn't see anything that suggested a false start. So maybe they look back and realize, because the reaction time was like 0.542.
Yeah, it was really.
I mean, at 0.542, she would have been 10 meters on the track. So I don't get that. So apparently they looked at it again and probably realized that there was an issue with the machinery and then reinstated her. But going back to the Julian Alfred race, after 5 weeks, initially, remember, there were reports about her being injured, which I said that she was not, because my information was that the coach needed a few weeks to work on some stuff that she hadn't been able to work on during the course of the season. So they took that 5-week block to work on. And the first race out, not a great start, but still recovered enough to run an impressive 10:76. And we're looking at some of our numbers today.
Yeah.
And if you look at after the first 10 meters, she was actually 6th.
Yeah.
And then she picked it up after great start from, of course, Tia Clayton, who got away early. But then Julian did something that if you look at between 70 and 80, she actually accelerated from 70 to 80, which is rare. You don't see that very often with athletes after 60 meters. So it tells you that she's in great shape, and she's obviously, once she fine-tunes over the next couple of weeks before Worlds, you expect that she's going to run even faster as well. The thing about it is this. When I look at the race that she lost to Melissa Jefferson got away similar to how Tia got away.
Right.
And she wasn't able to overhaul her. She caught her late, but ran out of real estate. The thing is that she can't go into Tokyo and have that happen again, because she's not going to catch. She might be able to catch anybody else, but she won't be able to catch Melissa Jefferson. So when they're fine-tuning, they're going to have to work on that. That's probably the weakest part of her race, actually, the start. But as we saw in Paris last year, she got a hell of a start in the final around 10:72. So you're thinking that in the next couple of weeks, that's one of the things that they're going to be working on. But overall today, I thought it wasn't the best race, obviously, but it certainly was a solid performance after having not run for 5 weeks. And also the fact that Marie-Josée Talou had a false start issue, which could have impacted her in terms of her reluctance.
Execution,
in trying to get out of the blocks quickly. and so she probably got caught sleeping in the blocks a little bit, because Tia Clayton got a real flyer, which she has been known to do ever since she was in her junior years.
Right.
But you look at Julian's race today, she took control about mid-race and eventually got stronger and pulled away, at the end. So it tells you that she's right where I think she would like to be. I think probably people were probably expecting a 10-6 today, given what she's been doing all season. But given the fact that she hasn't raced in 5 weeks, there's some rust. There's also the fact that she may have been overthinking some of the things that she's been working on, and also the fact that the false start was at the start as well. So overall, I think it was a pretty solid race. I mean, I'd give her a B plus, knowing that there's still things that she needs to work on. That start obviously has to improve. Her acceleration is where I think she'd be comfortable with, and the fact that she was able to accelerate from 70 to 80 tells you that she's a lot stronger than she was earlier this season as well.
I agree with you. I think Coach Flo wouldn't be happy with the first part of the execution. Everything else is there. And I think she's not happy. You could see a little bit on her face. I don't believe she wanted Tia Clayton to be that far out on her, but she definitely has the ability. In fairness, I don't think she's worried about anybody except Melissa Jefferson. And so you don't want to give away all of that. But with a couple of weeks for them to just iron things out, you hope that she'll show up and deliver. And if she executes to her best of her ability, then for certain it's going to be a cracking race. I can't see any other. I think it might be one of the races of Tokyo for sure.
Should be. I think for the next couple of weeks, I think one of the things that clearly they'll be working on would be the start. I think Julian's start it's been okay, but it's not been as consistent as she probably would have liked it to be. She had a couple of poor starts this season, for good reason, a couple of them. I mean, one of them I know, like, for example, the one that she lost in Oregon, that was because of some heavy legs from training, heavy load coming into the race. But understand that. But still, I think, over the next couple of weeks, some block starts to 30, on repeat would probably help her to get that instinct ingrained into that start, so that when she goes to the line, that it doesn't become something that she has to think too much about. Because if you think about it too much, you end up actually defeating the purpose of what you're trying to accomplish. And then Melissa Jefferson gets a flyer on you at 10.65, and the potential of looking like she's possibly could go 10.5 something, because that 10.65, the last one I think was 0.1 the wind was?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. This was was it Brussels or
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was
Poland.
But so the reality is that she can't afford to give someone like Melissa Jefferson a big jump on her, because she's never going to catch her. So that's something that I think she and Coach Flo obviously have to work on for the next few weeks as they fine tune, because now it's closer tapering time now.
Right.
So now it's just fine tuning, and one of the things that clearly needs to be fine tuned is that start.
Yeah. No, I agree. Let me just spend a moment to welcome everybody. I think I see a lot of people coming on your channel. Dell is there. Objectivity is over on your channel. Belmas. On my channel, I see Ferdinand. Good evening. All in the Game is here. Afro Carib. There's some comments we could probably, take a couple before we move on. Ferdinand is saying Julian showed with her 60-meter history she can start fast. She can go sub 10.7. She obviously is stronger. I think we won't disagree with that. All in the Game had an interesting one here. I haven't seen this. There's been some disgusting toxicity online directed at Juju by some Jamaican fans. Shameful behavior. I don't know if you're aware of that.
And I'm not, but if that's true, then that's disappointing, because
I'm wondering if there maybe I can tell us some more All in the Game, unless they're saying that they should allow Tia to win so she could have gotten into the But that's not how sport works. No one gives you anything, right? It's not.
You have to take it. And look, one of the things that
go ahead.
Go. No, finish your point.
I was going to ask you about Tia in a sense, but you go. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think Tia. I mean, look, one of the things that I've seen, and that is becoming increasingly clear about the Clayton twins, is that they're consistent 10-8 sprinters now. That augurs well for them, because then it's common knowledge, especially among the sprints and in any event actually in track and field. When you hit that level of consistency, a big drop usually follows. Right. And we've seen both girls run 10-8 consistently during the course of the season. At 10.84 again today. from Tia Clayton, and we saw 1080 something from Tina Clayton, recently as well. So they're in that zone right now where you're thinking that come September 13th, then in a final on the 14th, we could see a 10-7 from Tina Clayton, and of course, that also adds to the reality that the relay squad is a lot stronger with both Clayton sisters on it. Certainly both of them probably will be 10-7 shape by then,
Right.
along with a Sharika and probably a Shelly or Janila or somebody. The fact is that, or maybe, what's her name? Ashanti Moore.
Ashanti Moore, yeah, she's been having good season to her. Yeah.
Yeah, so, and I'm worried that she's likely to go even faster in Tokyo. So, it looks, the 4x1 for women looks good with the Clayton sisters and the veterans, and of course, the possibly Ashanti Moore as well. So, yeah, but look, the girls they're at the next level now. The next step now is for them to get to 10-7 and
Right.
be there consistently, like we see with Julian Alfred and of course Melissa Jefferson. What we saw from Shelly and Sharika over the years. So
Right.
it's a process, and as people have been saying, we keep rushing these kids. But remember, it's a process. It takes you from one level to the next. And I think the Clayton twins are at that level now where they're on the cusp of joining the elites. When I say the elites, these are the women who are running 10-7s regularly and possibly fast. And I think, look, they're still young. I think they're just 21
now, right?
So,
yeah.
So by the time they get to 23, you're looking at, or not even 23, by next year this time, these girls are probably 10-7 athletes consistently as well, because clearly the talent is there. So, just keep saying to people, be patient. These girls will come along, and they eventually will hopefully successfully replace the current generation of athletes who are on their way up.
Right. No, I think that's well said. We can't underscore the point. You can't take shortcuts in sport. It doesn't work. And there's a process, and you should be proud about, you can look and see two young women with the ability to dominate for years to come if they can get it right. And even if they don't dominate, it's clear that they can get into a 10-7 shape at some point.
Yeah, and be competitive.
And as long as they're still learning, they're still working, they're developing as human beings as well. And I think they'll get a taste. Tia will get a taste of a relay, and she can take out whatever frustrations she may have had because of the unfortunate situation in the Jamaica National Championship, and run a fabulous leg and try to give the Jamaica national team an opportunity to win a medal. Who knows? Try to win the gold. It's going to be difficult, but you do your best there. And I'm sure she's happy for her sister. And if her sister can come in a 10-7 shape at the championships, she should be able to fight her way for at least to be competitive for a medal. Right, I think if we're going to give away medals before, we'll give it to Julian and Melissa Jefferson wouldn't.
Yeah.
But I don't think we're giving away the bronze medal yet to anyone.
No, the thing, the bronze medal is a wide open situation in both races, both 100 and 200. And I think if Tina Clayton can get herself down to 10-7 in a final, I think she'll be on the podium. It's not going to be easy because, as we've said before, there's Kayla White there. There is, we see, it looks like Adina is finding some form. We spoke about her 1094 today. It suggests that she's probably fine-tuning to get down to even faster times in 3 weeks' time. So, if Tina can get to a 1078 or a 1077, somewhere within that window, I think she'll be on the podium.
Right.
Because we clearly see that she has the talent. Both of them have the talent. So once they're able to execute in a final, it should be a situation where it's St. Lucia, United States, and Jamaica on the podium for both events. Because I increasingly get the feeling that Sharika is going to just go one event this year. There's no information that backs that feeling.
Right.
It's just a vibe I get that perhaps to prolong her career, she probably just comes on to one event as opposed to two, because clearly she's not the athlete that she was in 2023. So maybe it's time now to be more pragmatic and selective about which event you take on. And given what we've seen in the 100, maybe the 200 is a better opportunity for her, given that she's a 21-41 woman. I mean, at her best. So given that we're looking at two women right now who can probably go 21-6 or faster, in Jefferson and maybe Gabby
Alfred.
Thomas as well, and Alfred. The thing is that if Sherry can get her time down to 21.6 or 21.7, she shall probably be on the podium as well. I don't see her ever getting back to 21.4, not this year, certainly. Not getting back to 21.4. So, she's looking to be on the podium, and I think that window is somewhere between 21.6 and 21.8.
No, I agree. I think there's a lot of women in the space for a bronze medal, including Asha Smith, if we have to include her. Brittany Brown today, as we mentioned at the top, secured a position. She did what Mackenzie Long couldn't do. And if Gabby comes healthy, then she might run something special. But she was struggling with the Achilles injury there. We'll have to wait and see. But I agree with you. I think if Shericka can continue to improve, I mean, she won't improve in terms of a race before now in the championship, but whatever they do in training, I suspect it might be open for a bronze medal position, but we'll have to see. Yeah.
Because when you look at it, what Shericka ran 22.17 was it 21.17 in the last race. You look at Brittany Brown 22.14 today. Dina 22.18. Hunt is in the 22.2.
Yeah, Amy Hunt too. Yeah, I think Amy Hunt has a 22.14, and along with Dina too from the British Championship. Yeah.
Right, and then you have Anavia Battle. Well, she didn't make the US team, so she's not a contender. But so you're looking at all of these women are within this window of about 0.4 seconds that separates them all. So you look.
No, Battle did make the US team. She was second, I think. Yeah, she was.
Oh yeah, okay.
She came second behind Melissa. Yeah.
Right. So you're looking at, and she's been 22 lows all year as well.
All season too. Yeah.
Yeah. So there are about 4 or 5 women who I think are in that range. So it comes down to then 2 things, I think: muscle memory and execution when it comes to what separates them. When I look at, for example, Dina clearly does not have the ability to hold that speed in the final 50 meters.
Right.
We've seen it. We saw it at the British Championships where she just barely held off Amy Hunt.
Yeah.
We saw it today where she was unable to overtake Brittany Brown. Even though she came off the curve ahead and Brittany got ahead of her, she wasn't able to reel her back in. That's where I think Shericka maybe have an advantage.
Right.
Because Shericka's strength endurance and the muscle memory from those past fast times that we've seen from her maybe gives her an advantage. I don't know, because it all depends on how her body responds to the competition once she starts to compete at the World Championships. Because, we've all seen she hasn't looked particularly spectacular all season.
Right.
But knowing Stephen Francis, knowing the Francis brothers, they probably have her in shape to run sub 22 by the time World Championships begin. So, so I'd probably give her the edge there as well.
I know there's a lot in the comments too talking about Dina. The one thing I'll say about Dina, I like what I saw from her today in the extent that if we took both races as a package, they would be happy that she ran, what was it, 10.94 and then she came back and run a creditable time. It's not where you would want to be, but the season hasn't been smooth either, right? She left. No. She went back to Great Britain. She went back to London rather, and so the question is, I think she's running with a smile on her face, and you anticipate that she should be able to do her best at the championships. I don't know what that means for her. It's too competitive to say she can get on a podium, but I think she'll probably perform happy, and that's probably important for Dina. Yeah.
Yeah, look, if she gets to the final and runs well, I think she'll be in the mix for a medal. But at the end of the day, I think what we see with her speed decay in the last 50 meters, about 200 meters, tells me that she might not be able to hold off a Brittany Brown or a Shericka Jackson or a Gabby Thomas or Anavia Battle or Amy Hunt. So she has hurdles to get through to get to the podium. In the 100, I don't know. 10.94 is just off her season's best, right? So 10.93, I think it was. She's going to have to get that time down. I think she's going to have to get that time down after 3 rounds. Where we've seen where there are other women who are capable of doing that. Kayla White, and of course, Tina Clayton as well, who are running 10-8s in finals after rounds.
Right.
So we haven't seen that from her yet. So, I think she'll probably run well, but her best, I think, probably just gets her just outside the podium, looking on. But if they get to a final, I think at the Global Championships is nothing to sneer at. I think it's
Right.
an accomplishment in itself. So, if she can improve, who knows? The thing
Yeah,
about
who
it
knows?
is that the
And
numbers
we should shout out
the numbers
Talou
don't-
Smith as well, because she also
Yeah.
doubled today, as people are reminding us, like All in the Game and others. Yeah.
Yeah,
And she did
she's
really
also a
well,
Yeah, she's also a contender for medal in the 100 as well.
Yeah.
So given where she's at now, and John Smith finally gets her down to taper, who knows? She might come in and be able to run at 10-8 low. If she runs at 10-8 low, she certainly has a good chance of being on the podium in the 100. Certainly. For
Yeah.
the 200, I think it's a little bit more of a challenge. I don't think her 200 is that great.
Right.
But I don't know. With Talou, we've seen the last two championships where she's run her fastest times outside of the race that matters the most.
Yeah.
And so maybe if she learns her lesson there, and she's able to. I don't know. She's 36 years old. If she can't run 10-7s anymore, I
don't think so either.
Past her.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not putting it past her because I didn't think she could have run it last year either. But she for me would probably be best categorized as a dark horse.
Yeah.
Because if there's anybody who can probably break through that glass ceiling that she's been facing for the past 10 years, because remember she was just on the podium in 2016 in Rio, where Shelley got the third ahead of her. Maybe this is the year when she breaks through, when the especially in the 100 where it's not the big three from Jamaica anymore. It's more spread open now, and not really open in terms of the first two places, because we both agree that it looks like those two places are going to be between Melissa Jefferson and Julian Alfred. But certainly for the bronze medal, I think she also joins the conversation for that possibility as well.
No, yeah, she's missed out for a while. She hasn't medal at the World Championship since Doha. She had that 2 silver medals going back to London in 2017, and Doha that she had a bronze in the 100, I think. And yeah, she's been outside of all those major championships. But I wouldn't, I like her a lot. I think she's good for the sport, and she's not quite Shelley, but in the sense that obviously she doesn't have that same level of status, but she's definitely sticking around and still being competitive, and that's admirable.
And that's very admirable. There's a time when most athletes used to retire at 31 or 32 and call it a day. She's well past that and still running well and still running fast. Had she not been stuck in Trinidad for a bit because of the issues, my understanding earlier this year, she probably would have been in better shape now, but she was still training in Trinidad.
Right.
But then, finally got back into the States, where John Smith had her firing almost immediately once she got back to the States. So maybe the next 2 weeks we see her come out and do something special as well.
Yeah. So. Cool. I want to talk about some other stuff, but let me just, since we're on the 100 meter, I know this 100 meter for men didn't really matter the same way, but I want to zone in on Akeem Blake since, we're here. We've been talking about him. We spoke about him the last time, and what you were looking for to see whether he could, get back to that 9-8 shape by the time we get to Tokyo. Are you concerned about it?
No, not today. When I looked at the race today, coming out of the blocks, he stumbled a little bit, and I think it actually cost him. I think the person who probably is the most upset right now is Ryan Ford, because had
he won that.
Had he won, Ryan Ford is in. But at the start, it looked like he stubbed. I don't know if he dragged his toe or stubbed his toe, and he managed to get back into the race, but then failed at the end. In fact, his finish wasn't bad today at all. But I think he exerted a lot of energy getting back in the race and didn't have much left for the last 20 meters, where Sam Simbini caught him, and of course Coleman got the win. 997, 998, 999. That's how close it was. But I think the start actually what was that cost him that race, because had he got his usual start, had he got the start that he got in in Lausanne, for example. He wins that comfortably. So I think I'm not particularly concerned about his form today. I actually like the fact that he was able to recover
Right.
from a bad start and be competitive and went out on the line and just fell short of victory today. So I think Ryan Ford is probably the only person who's screaming bloody murder today because he misses out on an opportunity to compete in the individual 100 meters.
Yeah, I agree. He was, I like, I guess, Jessica Hull there, Georgia Griffith from Australia would be upset too in the
Yeah.
1500. But back to this race, I want to say a word, obviously, for the youngster there, Walaza there, had to be pulled off the track in tears,
Yeah.
seemingly distraught. The looks of it, he might be done for Tokyo, and that's kind of a challenging thing because I think he would be a good part of that South African relay team
Yeah.
along with Akani Simbini, and now he's out,
Masagway.
and yes, must be distraught.
Yeah, look, I met him when he came to Jamaica for the Racers Grand Prix.
Right.
Very articulate, very intelligent young man. Knows exactly what he wants to accomplish in the sport. Very, I don't want to use the word humble, but very grounded. I asked him about his running style, that walking that he does.
Yeah.
And he said that it's part of who he is. It's just they've tried to fix it in training. But whenever he finds himself under duress in races where he needs to pull out something extra, that's how he pulls out that's extra something. So
Right.
yeah, I like him a lot, and I think clearly he's one for the future because he's only 19 years old, but
he's kid.
So when you talk to him, you sense someone who is so much more mature than his age would suggest. And if you know his backstory, it's incredible. The fact that he saw his father being killed in front of his eyes when he was a child, and that's what drives his motivations and his discipline and his success, because he's driven by that. And I think that's why one of the reasons why when I spoke to him, he said he's fearless. He doesn't fear anyone. He doesn't fear anything. And when you experience that kind of thing that you experience in your life, you're not. What's there to scare you?
Yeah, what is sport then?
Yeah,
nothing.
Because you've lived it, and you lived under worse circumstances. Sport is actually just an escape for you. So
right.
But I'm hoping that it's not anything too serious, and I'm hoping that in the next couple of weeks you will see him turn up in Tokyo ready to compete.
Yeah. Thanks everyone for coming in. Don't forget to like the video on both channels. And Paulette, blessings to you. I see Lamarda saying Akeem's start was off for sure. I think we mentioned that. Ronesta says terrible running technique by Walaza. Yeah, I heard an interview too, Leighton. He kept saying that they work on it in training, but when he gets out in the race, he doesn't execute the way.
It just happens.
It's
an instinctive thing for him. I don't think he thinks about it. It just happens, So
So it's one of those things. All right, let's talk about Akira Nugent. I want to zone in on her 100-meter hurdles. Last time we were talking, we just weren't quite sure what to make of Akira. We know we can't predict the 100-meter hurdles in Tokyo. It's just a ridiculous thing to do. We have women running in the 12.9s, and Akira for a while started the season well for me, then looked as if she lost her way. That might be a harsh way of putting it. But then she comes here and utterly destroys the field. It's a bigger margin. You don't see these margins, obviously, in hurdles. It's hard to see that. And it was a quick race, and Kambunji there, national record behind her, 12:30 to 12:40 or something like that.
And then 12:44 for third and fourth. Yeah, look, Akira, I think, is one of those athletes that needs races to find her rhythm. I remember she had shut down her season for about 3 or 4 weeks to go back into training, and came back out and had 2 ordinary races at 12:85, I think, where she hit a couple of hurdles, and then she had 12:43, I think it was for fourth. And then she comes today, looked like she was locked in, and ran a time equal to her season's best at 12:30. I think this win for her today and this performance for her today, I think, is a major confidence boost for her, for me. One of the things that I suspect about Akira, this is just my opinion and observation, is that she is a confidence runner.
Mm.
If she's not feeling herself, she doesn't perform well. Today, clearly, she was feeling that the Akira Newton that she knows that has run 12:24.
And it
And
probably was a 12-2 if she didn't hit that hurdle too, right?
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
So she's got the meet record is 12:29, and she just missed out on it as well.
Right.
But I think what we're seeing with her is that the more she races, the better she is. If you look at Akira, of course, her speed between the hurdles has improved significantly over the past couple of years. Her snap down off the hurdles has been better. It wasn't great the last two races, but this one you could see that it's coming back. It's getting back there where she's snapping down as quickly as she can off the hurdle and then propelling into the next hurdle. So she looks a lot better today. And I suspect, I don't know if she's racing again before, at maybe some smaller meets before she gets into Tokyo. I doubt that very much given the window of time that they have. But certainly she would have been very encouraged today for winning $100,000 and of course the Diamond Trophy, and winning against a strong field. I mean, Masai wasn't there and Toby wasn't there. Toby pulled out at the last minute, but that win is a win.
Vesa, you had William Stark, Kambunji, Tania Marshall had a 12:24 this season too, I believe. Yeah.
Just a few weeks ago as well. So she beat a strong field. And a friend of mine, Kenny Harrison as well, who was actually vying for a Diamond League win to get in. So there was motivation in virtually every single lane, and she beat everybody and beat everybody comfortably as well. The key I think for Akira today was getting that win in a comfortable fashion, because then now she will go into Tokyo knowing, I'm getting there. I maybe have some fine tuning to do over the next couple of weeks, but ultimately I beat a strong field today, including the two-time world champion, including the former world record holder, including somebody who's run 12:2 this year, including the European champion. I am a contender. I am in the mix for Tokyo. So I think going in, she'd be pretty confident going into Tokyo, know that she got that win today. And given the fact that she probably hasn't gotten her $200,000 from Grand Slam track yet, that $100,000 would make our bank book feel better as well today. So I think it's all good for her going in.
Yeah, I hope so. I don't think she's getting that $200,000 anytime soon. So, better hopefully they didn't cash things that they can't pay for right now. But
never spend money before you get it.
I like it. It's just, we've said it. It's like a broken record. It's the hardest meet in track and field. I can't call it. I don't know who will win that event. It's anybody on any day, So
I think I'd put my neck out on the block to say that I think Masai is the clear favorite. Yeah, but outside of Masai, right now it's an open field. It's all of these women have run 12:2. I mean, Daniel had a PB of 12:31 a couple of weeks ago.
Right.
But everybody's in that field has run 12:3s or 12:2s or 12:1s.
Right.
And I think given on that day is who executes the best is going to win. That's how open I think the 100-meter hurdles is, and I think for this year as well, I think it's pretty the same for the men as well.
Right.
Tinch won 12:92 today.
12:92, yeah.
Yeah, I'm concerned though about the Jamaicans. I mean, Orlando Bennett, 13:35 today. I think he should be running faster now going into the championships. I think it's possible. A very strong possibility that America sweeps this event. I wouldn't say sweep. I mean 1, 2, 3, 4, because you're looking at the U.S. champion, the college kid.
Tharp, Jacoby is really there.
Yeah. You have Tinch. Yeah. You have the defending champion in Holloway, and any other American right now. It was who was it? It wasn't Brit. Who qualified? No, it wasn't Brit. It was Tinch. Was it Trey Cunningham?
Was it Crittenden? No, my head is all.
I'm trying to remember. Yeah, but the strength and depth of the American sprint hurdler this year.
It was Beard rather. Yeah, Dylan Beard.
Yeah, Dylan Beard, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if the Americans come and come ready, which I suspect that they will, it's quite possible they could get 1, 2, 3, 4. Because the only person right now, or one of the few people right now who I think could break that up is nursing, recovering from surgery, Achilles surgery, in Rashid Broadbell. But you know, the Americans this year have shown just how deep they are in this event, and I think it's going to probably manifest itself in a possible sweep in Tokyo. That's how it looks to me right now.
It could go that way. I have to see what Murataki decides to do too. I like him, but I think he has a lot of promise. He did that 1292 as well.
Yeah.
So I don't want to count him out, but and then is the French kid gonna be there as well? I forgot his name.
Zaya.
Yeah. So
Um,
no, not
I'm
Zaya.
seeing,
There's another guy there that ran a 1299 as well. I forgot his name. I have to look it up. I'll look it up.
yeah,
Let me check.
I know you're talking about that because it's come to me.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is that, yeah, but you see, those are the thing about it. Those are one-off races. One of the things about the American quartet that will contest is that these guys went through the fire at the U.S. trials.
Yeah.
Where the depth in the U.S. is absolutely off the chain.
Right.
So the experience that they were coming into these championships with, I don't think anybody holds any terrors for them. Murataki, actually, I don't know exactly what happened, but he finished at the back of the pack in 14 something. I don't know the occasion got to him or he hit a hurdle early. I didn't see what happened. I just saw him coming in after.
Yeah, I didn't see the replay either myself. Yeah.
So but one of the things about these athletes you see come with these times sometimes is that they run a one-off race against weaker opponents, and because there's no pressure, then it's easy to run a fast time. But when you're lined up against world-class fields where anybody in that race is capable of winning, the pressure comes to bear sometimes. And Murataki, as talented as he is, we don't know how tough he is mentally when he's lined up. When you see a Grand Talou over here, so you see a Tincher, so you know these guys are capable of doing extraordinary things. How do you approach a race? Do you start thinking, maybe I need to be perfect, and and then that pressure comes to bear in the middle of a race when these guys are running freely because they're used to the kind of pressure of running against the best of all times because of how deep they are in the US. So I don't know. Right now, though, in terms of form, in terms of what I'm looking at, in terms of the consistency all across the season, because Beard was good doing the Grand Slam track as well. And, you're looking at people who are consistently running well. So when you're running that consistently well, it's hard to see a bad performance coming when you're accustomed to running consistently well, because that confidence also comes to bear as well.
Yeah. If I had to say a clear favorite, it would have to be Tinch for me, just because I think he's overcome a lot, and the both back-to-back sub-13s also suggest, especially that one in Lausanne in the weather, that is impressive as well. If he executes well, I think he should go out and win. I never want to count out Grant Holloway, but he's not having the kind of season given the injuries, and we haven't seen him in a while. But that doesn't mean he won't show up and deliver. But I have to see it. Well, the last thing I'll say on Murataki, I like him. I think he was in the final last year too, and I think home crowd is something that might work in his favor too. But like you and many, it's a very difficult thing to call. The Americans are really deep, and the fact that Cunningham didn't even make the team and he ran 13 flat like twice this year, I believe.
Yep.
It just suggests that it's a competitive space, and they if they could have brought 5 or 6 to the championships, they would.
They probably would have. Yeah, easily. It reminds me of the Americans back in the 1980s with Roger Kingdom and all those guys who were just completely dominant in their events. So Ronaldo Niemeyer and company. It's similar to this era where there is so much depth in the US that it's they could pick any 3 actually and still be competitive.
Right. No, for sure. We'll try to get to your comments against guys. When Leighton and I are on, it sometimes it's difficult to get through all the comments, but we'll do our best to take a look at some of them in a little bit. Let's talk 400 meters. I didn't see this coming, to be honest with you. NASA what 48, what was it,
48,
48,
70.
73.
Yeah.
What? I mean, like last week she looks out of sort. The week before she tried to outrun Paulina by going
Paulino.
really far out and then getting caught. And this time she did pretty much the same thing and held off in an interesting way. I mean, it's interesting. Yeah, 48-7
48,
is no
70
joke.
to 49
Yeah,
too is a big
it is
gap.
a massive gap. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think I need to watch the race again,
Mm.
but I think what she did different today was I think her first 200 a little bit more measured, so she had more edge to come home with. Normally she goes out like a bat out a hill and then she literally gets walked down by a stronger Paulino.
Right.
Today I think I need to look at the splits as well, but she
I
looked a
can.
little bit more
Yes.
measured. She looked a little bit more measured, so she had more energy coming home. And Paulino couldn't walk her down, which is surprising. Um, Let me look at those stats and
Yeah.
see.
Yeah. Let's see if we can get them up here. Yeah. Like 48-7. So this at 200, she was at what,
Like
23-49.
23-4, yeah.
Yes, that's pretty good. That's not. Yeah, I don't know what she did for the one in. I'd have to look for the one in
Yeah, because at
some
200,
weeks
Paulino
ago.
was 22, 23, 78.
78. Yeah.
She was almost 3/10 of a second ahead.
Yeah.
And then the last 200, the last 100 actually was well, Pauline actually gained on her at 300.
At
618 to
300
600.
and then
Yeah.
350, but then she was ahead again for the last 50 there. Yeah.
Yeah, because they look at her last 10 meters.
Yeah.
Is 656 to 686, which is
Yeah.
significant. So maybe she worked out a way in which she was able. I know she's been lifting heavy. I mean, I saw a video of her half squatting, like some 410-pound things.
Right.
It's ridiculous because she's a tiny athlete. But maybe she's getting stronger as well because she's now able to hold that speed like we saw in Jamaica, 48.56 or 48.67 or whatever it was. She's able to hold the speed now in a much better way, which is then able to hold off on a fast closing Paulino and whoever else. 48.7 is a pretty sharp time. I think only she has run faster than that this year, hasn't she?
Yeah. All the fastest times are her now, right? I think she's got this is what, third time going sub 49 for the season, if my memory serves me correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So so maybe the program is designed for her to peak again, leading into and this is probably the beginning of that peak, and it is pretty ominous for Paulino and for Sidney McLaughlin or whoever else is coming, because I know you have to do this after 3 rounds of competition,
right?
But this one-off race tells you that she's now getting back to that level that we saw early in April, where she's able to break that 49-second barrier with some amount of comfort. She looked pretty strong today in that last part of the race. So, maybe Paulina was even surprised that she probably was able to walk her down because she lost by half a second, which is a big enough gap to tell you that she wasn't able to walk her down like she has been able to previously. So that's interesting.
And I don't want to take away from NASA because it might be sounding like I'm nitpicking, but it's possible that Paulina's legs were tired. Maybe it's the last week of heavy workout for them
Could
too.
be.
And as All in the Game is pointing out here, as I see, he wouldn't read too much into it. In Paris last year, she was like 49.20, and she drops to like 48.17. So it could be one of those things. I haven't seen enough from anybody else, even though this is NASA has been running really well, to say that I would put my money on anybody other than Paulina. But what it does say is the race is going to be hot, because here you have definitely 3 women who are going to go sub 49 and quite possibly going close to 48 flat. And dare I say, maybe even better than 48 flat. And if that were to happen, then it would be epic. Yeah.
Yeah, but the interesting thing is that, and to respond to All in the Game, while I'm not disagreeing with what he's saying here, if NASA is 48.7 now,
Mm.
and she's not yet tapered, we're assuming that they're not yet tapered because we're still 3 weeks out. Even though Paulina ran 48.17 last year in Paris, remember, even though it's 6 years ago,
Yeah.
NASA ran 48.14. You know, and if she ran 48.6 and 48.7 this year, what's to say she doesn't drop one of those another spectacular time as well? So it's going to be interesting to see how this race plays out in Tokyo because it's probably one of the most competitive races we've seen in the 400 meters in a few years. Because what we're seeing is that there are 3 women there who can go possibly 48 and the 48
Yeah.
low. I mean, 48 really low. So what it does though, it certainly heats the field up and it makes it a lot more exciting.
Yeah. No, it is. It's gonna be fire. I don't even know what to make of it, but you got 3 women. I don't know what I would love to be in the room, a fly on the wall to hear what Bobby Kersey is thinking right now, and what he's telling Sydney McLaughlin, because I think what's gonna happen is you're gonna have 2 women who are gonna try to push some boundaries and go out and ask Paulina to eat them up, and I think she's gonna do it. And that's my thinking right now, but I'll see. I'll wait to see.
Here's the interesting thing.
Yeah.
Isn't Sydney's 200 PB something like 22.02 or something like that?
Yeah, it's very low. Yeah. I think
So the reality
not
is
last year, the year before, right? I think, right?
Yeah. So here's the thing. She doesn't have to expend as much energy to get to the first 200 as the other 2 do.
Yeah.
Because she's in that kind of shape where she's able to run at 22 low, 22 really low. So at 22.3 for her would not necessarily be a strain on her body in any way. So she's probably able to come home in 25 little or 24 high because of how strong she is, having run the hurdles for so many years.
Mm-hmm.
So that probably give her an advantage as well, because while Paulina and not Nasa have to probably put a little bit more energy to get to the first 200, as we saw today, 23.3. Sydney could probably be ahead with a lot in store for the last 200 as well. So there are many ways in which this race could play out. And if somebody breaks strategy for whatever reason, or does not, or falls out of strategy because of what somebody else is doing in the race, then that could be a factor in how the final results turn out. So yeah.
No, yeah, I think if you make a mistake here, especially if you're one of the big 3, it could put you from 3rd to like 5 to to go to 5th or 6th because you've lost the plot. It kind of remind me of what Femke was trying to do last year in Paris, where she misjudged that so badly that she.
You can't run with Sydney. That's a mistake that she made. You can't run with Sydney. You have to run your own race and stay within your own race plan, because if you follow Sydney's race plan, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
Because this girl is not. I mean,
she's not human.
her aerobic capacity is ridiculous, and her natural strength is extraordinary. The things that she's able to do. I remember she's a good sprinter as well. She ran 11.2. She ran 11.2 behind Akira in the Grand Slam in was it Philly? So so she's fast.
She has
She has good hurdling technique, and she's really strong.
No, she's golden. So I think it's going to be a great race. I can't even. I don't know what we'll predict it as it gets closer, but I definitely think it's going to be a great race. I know we don't normally talk a lot about the distance when we only get together, but I want to say something quickly about Laros, because I think he's emerging now as probably one of the favorites for this 1500 meters. Back-to-back high-quality runs, running
national record today as well.
Yeah, 3 minutes 29:20. It's a quality field. It had a couple of the chariot guys there, but equally it had likes of like Nagoose there, who, for me, I'm not sure how to make of this Nagoose season here. He has to explain this, where this is an opportunity for him and he fell badly. I think maybe he gave up at the end. He just couldn't hang with these guys. But that kid is interesting, because you have to think Jakob is not going to come to the championships in any kind of a shape. They wanted to put him into the Diamond League here, but he couldn't get the buy to come in. Only Noah got it. So I like this kid. I was surprised.
One of the things I see about Larash is that I think he's found the race model that works for him.
Mm.
He knows he's a strong closer, and so what he does is that he drafts off the leaders, tucks in,
Mm.
and then strikes when he knows he can outsprint everybody down the stretch. The last two races he's done it, run a personal best the last time, now national record again today.
Yeah.
It tells me that he's found a formula that works for him, and I think he's going to be dangerous because now he goes into to Tokyo with confidence, knowing that he's capable of doing this. And if he's in a final with someone who maybe the pace is a little bit too fast for them, or the pace is a little bit too slow, so it benefits those late closers like him. He could pounce and take advantage. And I mean, his times are telling you that he's probably right now peaking and could even go even faster than his national record as he said today.
No, it's gonna be good. I mean, yeah, you got Josh Kerr and those guys there too, but I like him. I think the kid came out of nowhere for me, and he's
Yeah,
moving. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah, but he looks good, and I like he closes. He has a very strong kick at the end. I mean,
yeah,
it's not often that you see that kind of pace coming in the last 50, 60 meters. When you're running at 1500 and you're doing what 50, you're splitting 50 55 seconds or thereabouts per lap.
yeah.
Your legs are going to be suffering in the last 300 meters of this race, and for him to be able to find that energy to pull away from the field, that convincingly tells you that, as I said before, he's found a formula that works for him. And I think now that he's building into it, both mentally and physically, I think he definitely is I don't know if he's going to be a threat for the podium in Tokyo, but certainly he'll give the best a run for their money, because right now he's among the best.
Yeah, I think so. I think he might be on it, but it's going to be obviously those races are also tactical, as many people know,
Yep.
and you know this for sure. And how you handle that it determines where you end up going. But I have to see. But like the Kenyans keep popping out kids. Is a coach guy here, and we
Yeah.
know Chariot from before, both of them. But it. I don't know where they find these guys from, but but I think that they're in good shape there, and 1500 meters is going to be a wild event, and I'm not sure if I can call it right now. I have to think through it, to be honest with you. I like
Yeah,
what
I'm
I'm
gonna
seeing.
I'm gonna probably have to break it down over the next couple
Yeah,
of days and see where it's at. Um, just to segue a little bit about where some of these track events are, but I was I was looking at the long jump today
mm,
and
mm.
thinking these guys are jumping 8 meters 30, and it's the same with the high jump as well.
Although
That the
the
high
women
jump,
yesterday was ridiculously good, though.
that the
Yeah,
women were great. They were
yeah,
four men
yeah,
over 2 meters, which is really
yeah.
fantastic.
204 for Olislagas. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Mahuchik was what? She was second, I think, with
202. She was
202. Yeah,
202, and Lake with a PB British national
yeah.
record. I
The
think
record,
I have to
and
check
she
that for
finished.
sure. But
And
yeah.
she finished what, third or fourth?
Third in
Third.
2 meters
Yeah,
flat, I
yeah,
think. Yeah, 2
yeah,
meters. Yeah.
yeah. But I get the sense that the high jump and the long jump are off in terms of
Mm.
the quality that we're. Well, certainly. I mean, I'm not going to even use the '91 World Championships as anything, because that was a ridiculous performance.
We'll never see
895.
that again. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we said that again for no. But when you look back, even not that far ago, when God, 869,
Tajay Gale.
Tajay Gill,
Yeah. That was
in Doha.
Doha, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you're not seeing those even from Tentoglu, when Tentoglu has been done.
Yeah.
His best is like what, 850 something. I mean, he's not.
Right.
I'm not seeing that kind of quality that excites you in the long jump anymore. 815, 820, 834, 832. 822, 798. I mean, I don't know. I like the field events. Really, in fact, I really love the field events.
Right.
But I'm not seeing the kind of marks that excite me anymore in the high. I mean, it wasn't that long ago that Bondarenko and Barshim were skating
Doing like
238
238, going close to
and
240. Yeah.
240. You know, but I know you find guys struggling to get to 230. I don't know. It's a little bit unsettling for me, because I don't like watching the idea that you're struggling to get about 230 when, just not that long ago, guys were challenging the world record. The world record 8:45. I mean 2:45.
Yeah.
And guys were jumping 2:42, 2:38, 2:37s. And now we're seeing guys struggling to get to two. They're struggling to break 2:30. The world league is what this year? 2:32 or something like that?
Yeah, I have to check again. It's not
Yeah.
particularly high. Yeah, I think it's like 230. I will say I agree with you on all of those. With that, to be honest with you, I've been saying this for a while. I think the long jump is in a terrible space for men. The high jump hasn't given us anything
No.
this season, but we've had good competition in a couple of years back. So I'm not that Tambar is out of cycle now, and
Yeah.
Barshim is gone. But that Wu kid was coming around, and I don't want to. Hamish Kerr, I think he's okay. So I think the high jump, I'm not ready to call them the way I'm looking at the long jump guys. And I think Tentacles jumps 860 something, I think. But in terms of winning, and if you go back to when Greg Grotterford was winning, you could win championships at nothing at 850 and below. And I think the long jump deserves more than that. I don't know when that will be settled. That requires the athletes to take it much more seriously. A lot of coaches say that they don't want to jump for different reasons, but we can get into the psychology of that too.
But I think also, go ahead. No, finish your point before I say.
No, I was going to transition and say, if the long jump is bad, the javelin isn't, the shot put isn't, and the discus isn't. We're seeing some all-time talent on that end, but you go there, and then I can go back to that if necessary.
I was just gonna make the point about the long jump. I think what is lacking in the long jump is not a technique issue. I think it's a speed issue. And when you look at, let's use Jamaica's James Beckford, for example, and Tajay Gill. James Beckford used to be a member of Jamaica's Formula One relay team back in the 1990s. And that speed translated into distance. Tajay Gill, similarly back in 2019. I think a lot of these jumpers these years are not as fast as some from the previous generations, and I think that's is manifesting in how far they're able to jump. And so I think maybe it's time to get back some because that's one of the reasons why Carl Lewis was as good as he was.
Oh yeah, because it's quick.
Yeah, it was quick, and he was able to get that momentum off the board. But certainly I'm not seeing the kind of quality that I wanted to see. And long jump is one of my favorite events. Why? Because I used to do long jump in high school. Wasn't very good at it, but it's an event that I liked, and triple jump as well. So these events, I hope to see some improvement in quality in the years to come. I just speak to the triple jump though. Jordan Scott to me had looked this year like he was going to be a contender for medals in Tokyo, but what we
not
saw
anymore. I don't know.
Fernandez and Picardo look like they're ready to come again. Turkey, Kirkit looking at what it was 1756 today.
1756, 1754, 1747 rather, and 1742.
Yeah,
I can
get so Jordan has jumped 1750 this year. I think 1750.
Yeah, Scott he did 1752. Yeah.
So if he's able to he's gonna have to probably jump that to be even close to a medal in the podium. And for the women, clearly, I'm kind of concerned about Shanika Ricketts. She hasn't looked great these last few meets.
Yeah.
Fifth today in a totally Caribbean dominated event.
The Cubans were out in full form.
And Tia fourth, 1462. And Shanika 1425, I think it was. So, I don't know. Normally, you would see Shanika started to run into some form about this time every year when going to our championships.
Yeah.
But this year, I don't know. I told you I spoke to Kerry Lee at trials in June, and he said that she was where he wants her to be. So I don't know whether or not these performances are a consequence of a block of work that gets her ready for Tokyo, or there's something else that has gone awry, why we're not seeing Shaniki consistently with 1460 or 1470 like we're used to.
Right.
I mean, I think last time we spoke, you had mentioned the fact that she's also not young
traveled
anymore. So I don't know if all of those things are beginning to pile on and become an issue for her as well. But it's kind of concerning.
It is, and to be honest, if you're not getting close to those, I think you have to be approaching 15 meters to be guaranteed on the podium. I
Mm-hmm.
think Perez Hernandez will jump 50 meters, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
Povea, Velasco. I think those Cuban women are in good form. If I had to take any heart out of this, I think Ricketts has a lot of experience, so maybe she might come to the championships and deliver. What I like today, though, even though she finished fourth, is Tia Lafon because she had a lot of injury issues.
Mm-hmm.
Now she drops a season best at 14.6 here. Maybe by the time we get to the championship, she's in, a 14.8, 14.9 range. You never know. That could put her back in a competitive position to try to challenge for the medals. But it looks like all Cubans right now.
Yeah, right. It's real, and I agree with you on the point with Tia because she hasn't been at her best this season. But I think we have an idea of why that was. The knee injury that she was recovering from, surgery, I think late last season, and taking a longer time to recover.
Right.
So maybe not everything is beginning to come together for her. But 14.6 tells you that she's moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
I certainly suggest that. But and it's the reason why I'm concerned about Shanika.
Right.
Because if you look at your previous seasons, both of them tend to have the same kind of progression as it gets closer to championship. Sorry, where as it gets closer to championship, they start to perform at a higher level. And 14-20 for me, that's a bit worrying. I'm hoping I'm wrong, and it's worrying about nothing. It's not that I'm saying the sky is falling. I'm just saying it's. I'm not used to Shanika being at this level at this stage of the season.
No, I agree with you. I think you have to be concerned because our best this season isn't something that would give you an indication that she's competitive for a medal. Doesn't mean she can't do a big one. And all you need is a big jump when you get to the championship. But
Yep.
she's not consistently jumping far enough to say, yeah, she's going to be on the podium, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You need one big jump to qualify for the final and one big jump to win the finals. So she needs two big jumps. And maybe, no, look, given her experience and given what she's managed to accomplish in her career so far, you wouldn't put it past her to have that kind of performance once she gets to Tokyo. Because as I said before, maybe this is what is happening to her deliberate right now. Maybe she's doing some additional strength work or some work that prevents her from being at her optimal best just now. But certainly we'll be getting her there in 3 weeks' time. So, fingers crossed that because look, one of the things, it's encouraging though to see 5 Caribbean athletes dominate the first 5 spots. 3 Cubans,
right.
1 Dominican and 1 Jamaican in the top 5. And so it augurs well for the possibility of the Caribbean having a strong podium presence in Tokyo. So, from that perspective, you can't complain. Right. But from a perspective of watching your two-time world champion silver medalist and a Olympic silver medalist, you can expect more at this point of the season. But as I said, I'm not Kerry Lee. Kerry Lee probably knows. Well, not probably. Kerry Lee knows.
He does.
Best.
Yeah.
And so, we'll see what happens in 3 weeks' time once they get onto that runway.
Yeah, no, it's good to see. I think All in the Game has an interesting comment that I want to highlight. He says Cuban lose so many of their athletes to other countries, not mad when the ones they can retain can win medals. Good luck to them. I think that's true because you think even on the men's side for the triple jump, they've lost their athletes as well. So it happens over time. Yeah.
Hernandez, that one today is for Italy. Picardo for Portugal.
Yeah.
So they've lost so many big athletes over the years, and primarily because of the regime that they're living under, and
right.
They abdicate all the time. The thing about that abdicate, but abscond all the time.
Yeah, but, once they it happens.
Once they get an opportunity. So the Cubans, you can't really blame them because of the circumstances under which they're living. But certainly they have produced a lot of talent over the years that they've lost to other countries.
No,
And
and I think we shouldn't, they've overperformed in terms of quality athletes over time, right? It's just one of
yep,
the, you
yeah,
go
but they
back,
produce some of
yeah,
the
the 90s,
best jumpers. Yeah,
yeah, some great jumpers, and accurate over 800 meters. There's a lot of people that they've produced, so it's like,
yep, yeah, good program
yeah,
over there. I mean,
yeah,
but unfortunately, the embargo and other issues make life very difficult for athletes to survive there as well. So,
right. No, for sure. No, yeah, and I think just to wrap up field events, I think Weber today was outstanding.
oh Lord,
World lead back to back, 90 meters. This is what
9-1-5.
three times over 90 this year. If my memory serves me correctly, he had that 90 when earlier this season when the guy Neeraj Chopra had gone 90, then he won it on him with a 90 meters cup in an earlier Diamond League, and now he comes back here. I think he's in great shape. I think
Mhm.
he's the favorite to win, even though there's a bunch of guys that can win as well. You just never know. Maybe Nardim shows up, the Pakistani guy, and and throws big.
Yeah,
Javelin is in a good space. The women's long jump is in good space. Yapachino today beating Mambo there, but I
by a
think
single
yeah,
centimeter,
yeah,
693 to 692.
right.
As I was telling my wife today, yeah, but I don't know if people know this, but her grandparents are Jamaican.
Oh,
Her
really?
mother, her mother is Fiona May, who
Oh,
won the
yeah, I
World
know Fiona
Heavyweight
May. Yeah,
Championship.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Fiona May's parents are
Are
Jamaican.
Jamaican. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
and
Hmm.
her father is a world class pole vaulter, and Fiona May is her mother. So she can jump far and high. Yeah, but so
Yeah,
it works out for her as a long jumper. But yeah, but she's been coming along because remember she was an outstanding junior as well,
yeah.
and now she's beginning to show that kind of talent as a senior athlete as well. So kudos to her. I think she'll be among the contenders in Tokyo.
I
You know,
agree. And when you had Tara
along-
Davis Woodall, who's been spectacular for the last couple
always.
seasons in terms of her ability to jump big when it matters, even when she is, like in the US national championship, she didn't register a mark, then she jumps a big one.
Mhm.
She, Miyambo, all these athletes, I think it's gonna take you want to make sure that you're jumping over 7 meters if you want to be on that podium. That's how
Yeah,
competitive it is. So I think
that's
that,
how it looks.
yeah,
That's how it looks. Because at the worst case, you jump 690 and you might find yourself off the podium.
right. Yeah.
And that's what I like about the quality. Even though they're not jumping as far as some of the athletes in the past, but certainly some of the
There's
women are
also
consistent.
circumstances for that too.
Yeah, we know that. But I'm about
Yeah.
to come to that because
Yeah.
some of that was boosted.
Yeah.
But Mihan was over 7 meters. Tara Davis was always over 7 meters.
Yeah.
And most of the other good ones are between 690 and 7 meters
Right.
as well. So it's going to be one of those competitions you look forward to because it's always nice to have a competitive competition. What I don't like more often than not is when one person comes out and just dominates the field events as
Yeah.
well. Yeah,
No.
Valerie
And
Alman, she don't know much better. So
oh no, she isn't. Yeah.
yeah, she uses those gymnastic skills to the optimal level because that flexibility and the
Oh
speed on
man.
the turn gets her to throw that discus forever, and it's
It's gorgeous to
fantastic watching
watch.
her.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, and she does that pirouette when
Yeah.
she releases the discus, and she's outstanding. I mean, I think she will go down as one of the greats. You know,
Yeah, and right,
she
she has to be because, and I always used to like Sandra Perkovic. She's still here. I think
yeah
she changed her name. She got
yeah
married
she
too,
got
and she
married. Yeah,
was really dominant for a while too. But Valerie Alman is consistently up there, and she performs, and you look at her, you're like, how, like how, but
she's tiny, but I mean, comparatively.
yeah,
But the thing
yeah,
about it
yeah,
is, but what she's a speed thrower. It's like
yeah,
Julian Robinson here when he coaches Frederick Dickers and others. What they
mm,
use is more speed and momentum to get that discus out there, and I think she uses it to perfection because she's not particularly bulky or big. But what
right,
she does, she's able to rotate very, very quickly and snap that discus out there and get good distance from it. And it's a method that obviously works for her because I can't remember the last time she's lost anything. I remember there's a competition where she was trailing. Was it Diamond League last year?
possibly, yeah, because she's won Diamond League from 21 to now, straight
Yeah,
five straight, yeah,
Yeah,
how many that
the
is. Yeah.
Cuban, what's her name again? Perez, I don't
Ah,
remember.
yeah,
And she just came with the last run, has popped out a big one and won it.
yeah.
So clearly whatever is working for her in terms of her mechanics and her technique is certainly consistent enough for her to be consistently winning and throwing far consistently. Because when you look at her performances, she
Oh,
doesn't
yeah.
really have bad throws. I mean, look at her series.
No,
She
it's
doesn't
always
have
good.
bad
Yeah.
throws. It's always over 65 meters, heading up into 70, which is, she's ridiculously good. And I like watching her compete. And she's always very gracious. She
No, she
reminds
is.
me of, she always reminds me of Kirani James when, after she shakes everybody's hands and she, gives them a good clap and everything. And it's always nice to see that kind of competition.
No, I
The
like her. She's
camaraderie.
good, good spirits, good for an interview. She talks well, and she's good for the sport. The last time she lost was to her countrywoman, Lalaga, right? Tasaga there
Yeah.
in Budapest. And I think she has some unfinished business at the World Championships.
Mhm.
She hasn't won a gold medal at the World Championships, but those two Olympic medals, I don't think she's worried about it. But
Yeah.
yeah, she's really really special athlete. Yeah, yeah. Varham, we spoke about it after he dropped that 46-28
28, yeah.
last week. Now he comes back and he drops another 46, what it was 46-70
46,
or something.
70. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm calling it. I think it's over. I don't know if Rai can handle this, but I just basically I'm watching his last 100 meters to just see does he have it in the tank? And he looks like he has a lot of energy. He looks like he's comfortable. And if he's comfortable there, I'm not sure you're beating him.
Yeah, look, I think Ray has a chance of beating him because I think Ray is just faster over the flat four. That speed helps him a lot. And but what Varhom has is incredible strength. And when you look at how strong he is when he's finishing, those last three hurdles when most athletes are struggling, he's
Right.
pushing still. So I think it's gonna be look. If I had to pick someone, no, I'd give him a slight edge over Ray because I think Ray has beaten him before and knows what it takes to beat him. And I think if he's close enough from hurdle number 7, I think Varhom could be in trouble. But if he executes like he did this race or the race prior to this one, it's going to be hard to catch him over the last 3 hurdles.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. Yeah, for sure. And I think I don't want to count out Alison DeSantis because those are the big 3 guys. Yeah, but I like, you have to like what you're seeing from Varham this season.
Yeah.
It certainly looks like he's over the injuries. And I thought, rightly so, he was going down and he's the older of the lot. But this time, he looks good. I guess he's never been looks this good going into a major competition.
Not since 2021.
Yeah,
when he
and
was
then
literally
he
running
hadn't gone that
PK.
low yet, right? Until he got to the championship. So
Yeah.
he's special. I think I like it. It's just unfortunate if you're not in that level of the sub 47. You're just not featuring because Samba is back. He looks good.
Yep.
The guy from
Mackenzie.
Nigeria, Ezekiel.
It's Ezekiel. Sorry, I said
Yeah.
Mackenzie.
Yeah, Nathaniel Ezekiel.
It's
It's just
47. He's what, a PB 47.21, I think, or something.
yeah, he's a low 47 guy too. Yeah.
Yeah. So and in that context though, it makes you wonder what has gone wrong with Jamaica's 2 guys, Malik James King, who's run 47.4, and Rashawn Clark, who's got 47.3. So, those guys were in the mix 2 years ago, but not anymore based on what we've seen so far this season. I know injuries have played a part in that as well. But at the same time, you would have been hoping that given what we saw from Malik and Rashawn 2 seasons ago,
right,
that they would have been further along now. And I know progress is not linear,
right,
but you'd have suspect that they'll be further along now than they currently are, which is kind of concerning for me because, I mean, when you're on 47.4 and 47.34, which is the new national record, you would be hoping that somewhere along the last 2 seasons, one of them would have probably broached 47.1,
right,
or even a 46.9, where a lot more runners are these days, the elite ones. We're not seeing that, and both of them are still young, which is one of the things that it's kind of, I don't want to say disappointing because I would suggest that I'm thinking that they should be ready when they're not. But you kind of have an expectation that when somebody runs a 47:34 when they're 20,
Right.
that maybe I'm not even thinking 46, maybe 47 twos
Or
or
even for some
47
flats.
ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
You're somewhere in that window that would be, where you expect them to be by now, because we're 2 years on. So I don't know, maybe little and okay, have plans for them to be at their best in Tokyo. So let's see, because we haven't seen either of them in a while as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, so
We'll see. I mean, the challenge is, look, you want to get into the championship. You can't control the fact that you have three guys running sub
for
47 and not even just sub 47, because 47 Ghana, it's not even like they're running 47.8. These guys are capable of going way down into the low 47s and mid to low 47s, and it's you I don't know if that's disheartening if you're an athlete say of a Clark or even Ezekiel or anybody else, or the other American guys just watch like, I can't, what can I do? I don't I hope it's a motivating force for you that you
it should
decide
be.
to, yeah, it should
CJ
motivate in a
Allen
good
ran
way.
CJ Allen ran what 48 flat today, which I think is a season's best for him again as well.
Yeah,
So I mean, you use those marks and you push yourself, because if they can do it, certainly you can too, because you've proven to yourself. I mean, Samba, look at Samba. Samba's been out for so many years with injury,
right,
and he's back to 47.09.
right.
So it tells you that even coming off an injury, you can get back to, because Samba's best is what 46.9, I think.
46.98, I think,
Yeah,
way back. Yeah.
yeah, from what that's again from 2019, I think as well.
Yeah.
So you're looking at a situation where he's getting back to his best. I know Karen McMaster has had his trouble with injuries in the past few seasons.
Yeah.
And this season is no different. I mean, I think he's run once or twice this season. But certainly, the good thing about it is that Rashan and Malik are both young.
Right.
So, let's see what happens. If it doesn't happen this year for them, maybe next year is the year when they get back on track, wherein they can start to then progress on your personal best and push it a little bit further down. Because I think it's due. I mean, where we're seeing now is that there are more athletes now running into that range of 47 twos and 47 O's, and
Right.
of course the big three right now at 46s and of course with 45. But you kind of hope that maybe in another year or two that we'll see a Jamaican finally get to 47 or
Right.
46.9. Yeah, because these guys that the potential, it's there. It's clear to see
Yeah.
that it's there. But somehow it's not happening just yet, because remember, for example, take Asini Wilson. He opened up the season with 48.8
Right.
at the Velocity Fest meetup by JC. I was there the evening when I ran that race, and he hasn't really done anything much since, actually. So you would expect that you run that time in April or May, that by the time you get to this part of the season, you're dropping maybe even a half a second off of those times.
Right.
We're not seeing that just yet. So maybe it's an approach in terms of the program. Maybe it's an approach in terms of recovering from consistent niggles and injuries, and or a combination of both things. So what we can do is hope that somewhere along the way we start to see them making progress again. Because as I said at the outset, progress isn't linear. So maybe this is one of those troughs that these guys go through before they start to get better.
No, they just got to stay in there and hope that, and do their work. And look, their standards. Every generation, they have to face new standards, and this is the standard that they have to face. So they just got to get involved on it. I want to touch on the women's 800 meters because I've been saying all year I like Audrey Vero from Switzerland. I thought she was going to be good, but to be honest with you, I didn't realize she was going to be this good. Back-to-back weeks, Swiss national record. Last week 156.29, today 155.91, with a storm of a hold off there because Georgia Hunter Bell was
Hunter
coming,
Bell.
and it's validated our predictions and all the other predictions we've been saying that Hunter Bell really needs to run 800 this season and not think about the 15, even though she's the medalist there. I don't know what's going on in the 800 meters, Leighton. I can't explain this. 155 now, when you look at what Keely is doing, and a lot of people are saying that Keely is in 153 shape. Maloney today, we must shout out the St. Vincent woman.
National record, 157
national
too.
record too. Yeah. Crazy stuff happening.
Well, what it seems to be is that there's a new crop of people coming through.
He did tell me this some months ago. I thought so too, but I didn't think she would be that good.
Yeah, but 155 is good. 155 is a good time. A really good time. How many women have done that? So does that put her in the conversation for Tokyo? It certainly does, because right now, outside of Keely, she's probably the next best thing. Mora looks. I don't know where Mora is.
I think she's done. I don't. Yeah.
Yeah. And what's her name?
Segodiso is in the mix early, but I don't know if she is. We have to see what we get from Dugoma as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So there, and Maloney running 157 now suggests that at fourth place in Paris last year could perhaps be a bronze this year. Mm-hmm. She's been up and down all season,
right?
But today, I think she was just outrun down the stretch, because they're always just consistently keeping the pace, which is extraordinary, because normally you see an athlete tend to fade in that last 150 meters, even though they're pushing, the pace is not where we would not expect it to be, but certainly the pace is not there to start. But certainly running 157.2 today for Shafiqua is a big step forward for her as well. And what we're noticing, and as well, since we're talking about the 800, we haven't seen Natalia Gould. I spoke to her earlier this year. I know she had some injury issues all year where she wasn't able to train for large blocks of the season. So maybe she's putting in some of that work now,
right,
to get ready in time. I need to reach out to her. In fact, I'll probably call her tomorrow morning and find out what she's up to, because I haven't seen her race in a while. I know she had I'm trying to remember the nature of the injury was, but it was an injury that prevented her, that put her in a lot of pain. I think it was that muscle that connects the upper hamstring to your glute. I'm not quite sure, but it was a prolonged injury that kept her out of training for a long period of time. But she was fine. When last time I spoke to her, she was finally healthy enough to compete.
Right.
But she was still suffering some discomfort. But I need to reach out to find out where she's at now, because we haven't seen her since several weeks now. Actually,
it's been a while. I can't remember the last time I saw her.
Maybe see if she's had either a relapse of the injury, or is she just training through to get ready for Tokyo.
No, yeah. I think the 800 is interesting space. There's all these different talks about the preparation on the men's side, and the rate at which the athletes are trending down, especially even on the men's side too. It makes you wonder if at some point we have to reevaluate the standards, because it's you saw the Jamaican guys the other day, and the guy from Roban, they're dropping some outrageous times. People talking about bicarb, all of that stuff. Yeah. But the men was also interesting too. Man.
Wanyoni to me he has to be, if he doesn't win in Tokyo, be a disappointment. Right. Because just every single time when you think he's done in a race, he finds he's just not. Because I thought the pace was the first 400 was just off what I think the pace was, what he probably would have wanted. It was 49 flat, I think, at the first 400.
Yeah.
And he looked at with about 200 to go, he looked like he started to fade. But this is something that you get used to with one unit. It looks like he's starting to tire, and then nobody can pass him
Yeah.
because he always finds something else. So I think if he doesn't win in Tokyo, I think it'd be a disappointment because he's been that. I think he's probably lost 2 races all year.
Yeah, he lost that one in the rain, and I'm trying to think which other one he lost. He lost the one in Lausanne, right? Yeah, or something like
Yeah,
that. Yeah, but he's in great shape. I like what I saw from Max Bergen too.
Bergen,
I've
yeah.
been talking about him all season too, in the sense that he's been in pushing a lot too. He's in the 142 range as well. Marco Rupp, as usual, will probably come, and he was there too, third. But I think he's a 141 man. Sajati must be the guy who's happy because he's been kind of
Yeah,
inconsistent season for him
yeah.
too. Yeah,
But he didn't look particularly great today either.
yeah, but he came in fourth. But
Fourth, yeah.
yeah, I think Masaleli is the one that I'm a bit surprised by. He had a really good start to the season. He's not doing so well. Also, the Spanish guy, Atowi, he's also an interesting guy. I was really disappointed with Josh Howie because after
Yeah.
all that stuff indoors this season, not making the U.S. national team, clear path for him to get to the champ. I'm not saying he could have he would have. He can't outclass these guys, but 144 is just not his style. Maybe he gave up at the end when he realized he couldn't win, but the 800 is a different place this year. Yeah.
Yeah, because when I watched the last 200 of that race, he kept falling further and further behind. He looked like he definitely looked like he was struggling the last 200 meters of that race, which is, I expected him to be closer to the front. Like at about 550, 600. I think I expected him to be closer to Wanyoni and
Right.
Bergen. Sorry, yeah.
Bergen, Max Bergen,
Yeah. So, because I was looking for him, right? In fact, I was looking for him from the start because he's one of the guys I think had the potential to challenge Wanyoni on a more consistent basis.
Right.
But then when I saw him fall further and further, and the pace of the last lap was not all that great either because they came back in was at 142. If it was 141, you'd have probably say, okay, fine, it was probably a little bit too hot. But it was 142, 142.5. I think what was it? I don't remember the final time it was. So
142.37, I think.
37, yeah. So it was fast, but it was not that fast, so as to push him out of contention. So 144 suggests that, and maybe it was just an off day for him as well. You never can tell.
No, it is, and I think this year is hard to know. I want to see what Donovan Brazier will do. Obviously, he went out there and won the U.S. National Championship. They're also obviously sending a kid, Cooper Luckenhaus. I don't know what a 16-year-old kid is going to do at a major championships, but he's going to have a lot of fun. He just signed a big Nike deal as well.
So my money's burned now. So
yeah, he should be fine. I think all in the game was saying that Peter Boyle is a podium wild card for him. Interesting. I don't know. Boyle ran really well earlier this season. He might come and do something. He has a 142 this season, I believe, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
but I think maybe he's in a block of training right now to come back because sometimes that's what happens. You start
especially with the Australian guys too. Yeah.
Yeah, because they're a different time zone and seasonal zone from us.
Yeah, hemisphere
from beside the world. Yeah. So what it is that maybe starting out the season well, and now knowing that the World Championships is in September, which is a long season for them.
Yeah.
Then it puts in a block of work to come back. So that's maybe one of the reasons why we're seeing or not seeing what we expect to see from them. So that's probably something else we're looking at.
No, yeah, it's cool. I mean, I don't know. We have to do predictions. I have to sit down and do my predictions because at some point I like to go on record, but I'm not ready to go on record yet. I have to really sit and think through all of these things.
I need a week.
Yeah.
I'm not inclined to do predictions, but I think this year I'm going to probably try because I'm going to put some predictions up on my channel in a week or so.
Yeah, and I'll probably do a couple of prediction shows too. I like to do them. I like to, because I get all the comments that this, age like milk, or when I do make them right, people are, they never credit me when I make them right. I'm joking. I don't need the credit, but it's like it happens, right?
Yeah.
I remember last year I called the Julian thing really early, and you did too. I think you were one of the early ones on the
Yep.
Julian really early, and I think got a lot of heat for that. But we'll
Yeah,
see. Yeah.
people were doubting whether or not she was going to be able to do it. I don't know why though, because it was so obvious that she
Oh,
was
it
moving in
is.
the
Yeah.
right direction. And the one of the last confirmations I did, I was on the zone
Mm.
prior to the semifinals, and I said whoever won that semifinal between her Shakari and Shelley would win the final. And Shelley didn't show up for obvious reasons.
Right.
But then she won comfortably and then came back to the final. I remember when we spoke to her on out the blocks, she said she when once she won the semi, she knew she was going to win the final. And it
Mm.
was clear that her confidence was there. And we saw that some of that today. I mean, one of the things that I've seen about Julian
Mm.
is that the more I see her race, the more relaxed she is. It's like she knows now that she's elite and she's
Right.
among the elite of the elite. Like when I look at her at the start today, it was almost like she was unconcerned about what the outcome of the race would be. She knew she would win. She was her. She was rocking her neck like this. She was like, okay, let's get this over with and just kill these people and move on because I have things to go and work on. And probably
Right.
maybe a little shopping to do before I head back to the States. So yes, but you kind of sense that last year, even though I think she's more confident this year. But and by the way, did you notice how much leaner she is?
Oh yeah. She looks like she's ready. Yeah.
Yeah, when I saw her at the press conference yesterday,
Yesterday. Yeah.
and she was sitting on, I'm looking at her arms and her shoulders and her chest, and I'm like,
Very
somebody's been
toned.
doing a lot of cleans over the last 5 weeks because she looks very powerful, and I think we saw some of that power today. That I'll give remember that block between 70 and 80 where she actually accelerated from,
Right.
0.93 coming on from 0.95 for the previous 10 meters. Obviously, that strength is there now. So I think, you know, I think I'm not going to change my mind. I mean, I think she wins the double. I think it's going to be harder in the 100, but I think she wins the
Right.
double.
That's where I'm heading, and I'll sleep on it some more. I like what I've seen from Melissa. The only thing I would say, and I like Melissa a lot because she's from Georgetown, South Carolina. In my early years in college, I was in South Carolina, and way back in the day. But I like South Carolina, so I feel, and I like Melissa in the sense of how she carries herself as well.
Yeah,
But
nice girl.
I just in a way, it would be so cruel to her if she goes to the championship and she was winning every race, and the only one she doesn't win would be the 100-meter final. But yeah, we'll see. We'll definitely
Yeah.
see.
Well,
Yeah,
look at it this way.
yeah,
Maybe it's the way she's she used to win this year.
yeah,
I mean, she's been consistently fast, 10.65 a couple of times,
yeah.
some 10.7s in zero wind,
Right.
and looking. She looks like the gold medalist.
Yeah, she does. Yeah.
So if she does win, I don't think it'll be a surprise or a disappointment, depending on where you look at it. I mean, because obviously she's been demonstrating that she's deserving of the victory.
Right.
The reason why I'm sticking with Julian, and I think that I think ultimately Julian will be faster for some reason. I don't know what it is. The numbers tell me that she is fast. The numbers tell me
Hmm.
that Melissa has been faster so far this year. But something tells me, and I could be way off base with this, but something tells me that if it all goes well and they line up in our final in Tokyo, I think Julian wins it.
Mm.
Um, for I just think Julian is stronger. I think ultimately Julian is faster. She hasn't demonstrated it yet, but I
Right.
think ultimately she's faster. But that's just the idiot in me talking. I don't know.
No, I get what you're saying. I think people, students of the sport will understand when you look at some of the conditions. The run in Monaco would have given you a lot of hope. The run in London gives you a sense that there's some danger there for Alfred if she gets it right. The only, but also we know if she fails to execute the first part of the race
She's
and
dead.
Melissa is gone, you
Yeah,
might
she's
not
dead.
catch this year as Melissa. It's a different type of Melissa. So
Yeah.
that's the only
The
thing.
o- The greatest weakness that Julian has right now is that start.
Right.
If he does not get that start right, she loses. And there's no doubt about it. Because if Melissa Jefferson gets away today, like when Tia got away today, there's no catching her.
Yeah, she's not catching her. Yeah.
Not gonna catch her. At 10, if you're of similar speed and somebody gets that kind of jump on you, you're not gonna catch her.
Yeah.
And so that, I think, is where I think Julian probably will be focusing on over the next few weeks to get that start right, because she can't afford to give Melissa that kind of space. If she have that a 2-meter lead on her, is a recipe for disaster. So she has to come up with her. She has to be able to get to 30 with her, and then use her what I believe to be superior power to accelerate up to. Because I looked at some numbers for Melissa a few days ago, and I did not notice. Which one of the reasons why I pointed out that acceleration thing from 70 to 80 today, wherein I don't see what I see from Melissa is consistency, but I don't see that acceleration late in races. So if Julian is able to stay with her at 60 and find something similar in terms of that acceleration between 60 and 70, or 70 and 80, whatever it was today, I think she gets the edge. Very close race, separated by 1063 to 1064, or some ridiculous.
Or who knows? It might be thousands of a second.
Yeah.
Serious finish line. Yeah.
So that's how I see it unfolding. And for the 200, I think Julian is just stronger. I think Julian, they will come off the curve together, and I think Julian's superior strength takes her to the victory for the 200.
Right. And I'm glad you mentioned 200, and I know we briefly touched on it earlier, but I just want to make sure we're on record to say that, at least personally, what Brittany Brown did today, a heck of a respect for her, because she knew she had. It was the ugliest run. I don't think she ever even wants to see that race. You just throw that away. You don't even want to look at it. But she found a way, and that's the thing about Brittany. She's a fighter. She's overcome stuff. We saw her last year, the year before.
As well.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't come back from surgery that's quick and perform as well as she has since that time. And I think she was very, very good today in holding off Dina, the last 30, 40 meters where she could have easily have folded.
Right.
But she held on, and that speed and strength and endurance that she demonstrated today was commendable. It's one of the reasons why I like her. I like watching her compete. She doesn't quit.
No, I think that, and it's good for the other athletes to see that as well. It's one of those things.
The men's 200 was interesting as well. I mean,
we didn't even talk about that. Forgot about that.
Led 495.
I was about to say, let's get some comments and wrap this up. I forgot about this.
Yeah, and then got caught on the line.
At this stage, I have to say he's gonna win it. Like, I don't know what to say about that, Leighton. Let's see. Allowed. I don't know what's. I think Let's Seal is injured, or he hasn't fully recovered from injury. But what Noah did today, walking him down, I don't know if you go into the World Championship and feel like you can beat this guy. I don't know.
Yeah, well,
I don't think.
And you'll be justified in thinking that, because when you lead a race for 195 meters and then you feel pressure on your shoulder, you know where I think he lost the race? He tried to dip about 5 meters before the line. Had he continued to run, he may have very well have held on for the win. But he tried to dip and slowed himself down, and Noah passed edge him on the line. It's 1974 to 1976.
Right.
You're not going to, if you feel him on your shoulder like that, just keep running. You can't dip, and then we saw Bolt cost himself a few fractions in London in 2012 when he ran the 963 and 100.
Right.
Where had he run through the line, he probably would have equaled his one world record.
Possibly,
I'm looking at this today. Noah's last 10 meters was what? 1.02. And Tebogo's of 1.04. That's where he lost the race.
Right. Yeah. Because he was in second the whole time. I mean, at least once Noah got into second, Tebogo was leading the race from start until just the very end. It's kind of eerily similar to the 100 meters in the Olympics last year, except that's separated by thousands of a second. But
because look at that. See, Tebogo 0.90 for the first 10 meters.
Yeah.
92. Noah had 92. Noah closed with 92 to Tebogo's 93. They both had 93 for the first. What was that?
Where's
What mark is that?
uh
That's what. That's one. That's fourth. Um, yeah, that's 50 meters out. I mean, so and then so but you look at the last up at 160. Noah was behind Tebogo,
yeah, he
15,
was still
26.
behind.
Yeah, right. And
He
then Noah
was
started
all
to close.
behind until he got
All
to the
behind.
last 10.
The
Yeah,
last 10
yeah.
meters where see the 1.02 to 1.04. That's where he lost the race.
Yeah.
Had he just kept on running instead of trying to dip, I think he wins or at least a tie.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, no, one of the things with Noah, you can always, as I said before, people can always hate him and they say what them say about him. But he talks the talk and he backs it up all the time.
Yeah.
He backs it up. But
he has been doing that. I think he goes to the World Championships feeling good about his ability to chase down these guys. Clearly, Kung Fu Kenny will have something to say in the 200 meters.
Mm-hmm.
I think Brian Level, if he can manage the rounds, he should be able to have a conversation as well in terms of medals. But I'm not quite sure. But let's see, he has some work to do. He's lost to him on some occasions that I think he has to question himself. Like that first 200-meter race that Noah showed up in Monaco, you should never allow him to win. And when he comes here and he wins again, he's probably, he's taking candy out of your Halloween bag. You don't want that to happen,
Yeah, but you mentioned Brian Level earlier on. I'm going to say something. I'm going to say it, and I'm going to stick to it as well because it's going to be part of my predictions. I honestly think this is not a feeling I'm getting. One of these gut feelings I get from time to time. That I believe, given how I know Shaniki Osborne works, her model is similar to what Frano models his athletes. That 19.6 a few weeks ago,
right,
indicates to me that when he gets into Tokyo, he's probably going to be a 10th of a second faster. If he's a 10th of a second faster, that's 19:59. If he can manage the rounds and get to a final around that time. If he does that, he's on the podium.
If he can run 19.5, he could be contending for a gold medal too, because I have to be honest with you. You're looking at Kung Fu Kenny doubling. Let's see doubling unless he changes his mind. Noah doubling. And none of these guys, I mean, I guess outside of Let's See last year, but none of these guys, since Noah started to double, I think is a stat that me and all in the game peddle a lot on the internet. He's never run faster than 19.5 in a major championship since he started to do the double, because it takes a lot. So if Brian Level is sitting there and he can run 19.5, he might be looking and like, I maybe could win this,
Yeah, because look, 982, as I said to you before, that 982 tells me that by the time they get to Tokyo,
right,
he'll be in 9.7 shape, right? Because for you to be successful in the 200, you need to be able to get that first 100 without burning up too much energy. So he's going to be faster. So he'd probably be able to do the first 100 in 10.01 or 10.02, and then come home, in 9.5 or 9.6.
Right.
I don't know, whatever it is that they're working on. So if he's fresh and running 3 rounds against guys who already have rounds in their legs from the 100, and including what I expect to be a very intense final,
right,
he could take advantage of it and probably squeeze on a podium somewhere. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm saying it's a possibility.
No, I agree with you.
That is likely to happen because his progression this season is in line with where you see athletes who usually come into the fore. Where the times that he's run this year are breakthrough times, 9.82.
It is.
And 19.6. They're breakthrough times. And when you get to that level, it's crazy to see where it could mean, what it could mean, for him going to. The only thing that I think could probably work against him is that this would probably be his first major final, and whether or not he'd be intimidated by the occasion and the people he's up against. And of course, somebody objectivity just made a point about
Yeah.
which is ridiculous. Of course, obviously, you're on 9.58 and then you come back around 19.19.
And there's more rounds then too. So
more rounds. It's crazy. It makes you wonder what Bolt would have been able to run had he run that 200 fresh.
Right. Like I always thought about Bolt just doing something special on the circuit, which he never really, he didn't always have to, but yeah. If he was in that race that night when Johan ran in 1926, that probably would have been something stupid out there too with times.
Yeah, that's crazy. But so that's why I think Brand Level, if there was a true dark horse for an event, a premier event at the World Championships, he would also be one. Because what we've seen from him so far this year indicates that there's a likelihood that Shanique is preparing him to do something special in Tokyo. And since he's only running the one event, who knows?
No, you're right. And I think he can go under the radar, not because people won't know him, but I don't think there will be excessive media attention on him. No one will be vying for his time. He can just sleep through the whole Tokyo thing and just deliver. And by the time they recognize he's a real threat, he should be in the final of the 200.
Yeah, and more importantly, no expectation.
Exactly. Yeah.
So nobody's expecting him to go and win anything. And so he comes out, he runs free. If Shani can keep him focused and saying, look, one race at a time, the only true race that you have is a fan. Everything else is a qualifier.
Right.
So you don't have to kill yourself. If you can if you can win a heat or between the top two and run 20.2, do that.
You should.
And then get to the final and then let it all out for the final. So if she can guide them along those lines, then going into a final, she pulled the trigger and said, "Look, let it out now." Who knows? Because he's clearly going to. I think the last time we saw him, he was fast, and I think he'll be faster still when he gets into Tokyo because he hasn't raced in all of that time. One, and two, he's whatever background work they've been doing in that last block of tonight clearly would be preparing him to run even faster once he starts to taper in just over 2 weeks, just under 2 weeks from now, actually, because tapers usually take from about 9 to 10 days or thereabout. So with the Worlds being September 13th, maybe another week and a half before it starts to taper. So,
Lamar is saying no, we're still asleep in the blocks for that race. The 100 will be challenging for him if the better starters get the jump on him. No, I agree on that. We've spoken about this for a while. I think for the first time, Lyles is looking, especially at the oblique Seville, I think probably too with Kishane Thompson, that if I'm not close, no amount of closing speed I have, there's no way I can catch him. I don't think he knew that. Like what happened in Lausanne in that rain, it scared him, and he can't say otherwise. He won't say it publicly. He just kept saying that he had a bad start and acceleration, but Seville didn't, and it's a different thing. Yeah.
And based on the fine tuning that I know Seville will be going through now until it's in there, I'm told that they're gonna be wrapping him in cotton wool, and then and them say shave him down and then let him go. It's going to be special to see. I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping that nothing goes wrong for him this time because I think he deserves it now.
Yeah. No, I agree. Let's get some comments and get out of here. I know we've gotten so many comments late and I couldn't even keep up on your channel too, but I'll look at a few on here as well. We address this one. Afrocarb is asking about the relax and ease on Tobago. I'm not sure. I think Tobago he looks like he's running nonchalantly, but also he doesn't look like the Tobago I'm used to. There's no lift. I still think he's struggling with something that made him pull out from that Diamond League early. And I don't know I don't think this is the Let's Sealy from last year that we're seeing now. But I hope that I'm proven wrong when it comes to Tokyo.
Yeah, look, his running style is how he runs. When you saw him at World Under 20 Championships when he won that 100, that's how he looks. That's how he runs. He runs very relaxed because he has that 400 strength that 200 strength as well. And when he runs 100, it's you remember when he looked across to Nkrumah and pointed and ran, sub 10. The thing is that that's how he runs. But that doesn't mean that he's not under stress, because when you saw him today, with 2 strides to go, he was dipping long before the line. Had he just run through the line, he probably would have won. So it's not about relaxing too much. I think that's also how he runs.
Yeah, and I don't think he wanted to lose today. He can't, he wouldn't have, Objectivity say Leighton is calling it for oblique. I think you're...
you
gotta wait on his prediction,
Yeah, but look, based on what I'm seeing so far, somebody posted a message. Somebody sent a message on my page, on my channel.
Read it. You can read it in a second, because I'm not seeing it right now.
No, I don't have it now, because it's one of the previous videos where he said, show me a model where Kishian loses to oblique, and the model is simple. If oblique gets out with Kishian, he could win that race comfortably, because his acceleration is more. When Kishian hits top speed, oblique is still accelerating. So if they get out together, and when Kishian hits top speed and then his speed started to deteriorate, oblique is still accelerating, which means that he'd probably have a gap of 2 meters on him. And if they hold their speed to the line, like we saw in the last 2 races, where their last 30 meters were identical in terms of time, oblique wins. I'm not saying that he will. I'm saying that it's a possibility that it can happen that way.
Yeah, All in the Game is saying to me that last year Tobago was in 1987 shape, and now he's in 1967 shape. I get that. My thing is that it just doesn't look like the Tobago I anticipated. I thought he was going to be much quicker at this point in the season. That doesn't mean he can't go in there and run the 19.4, but I don't know if it's indicative of the 19.4 of last year, only because the way he started the season on those 400 meters or 300, I was like, he's going to do something very special. And he may very well do that. But I'm wondering if he's carrying something, not necessarily carrying it now, but he did something happen. They never really explained what it was. And he pulled out of that. He ran that 100 meters was it in Doha? Not Doha, in Rabat, I think, in Morocco. Yeah. And then after that, he just hasn't looked good over 100 meters at all, which is concerning to me. But we'll see. Yeah. Dynamics is asking, Leighton, do you think Shericka should run the 100 or give the spot to Tia, who is better? Can she give the spot to Tia? That's not how it works, right? Yeah.
No, look, I don't know. Look, that's something that somebody actually mentioned to me just today. That if they withdraw Shericka from the 100 and put her on the 200, whether or not they can insert Tia. I don't think that option is there. I could be wrong, but you remember, Tia didn't finish the 100 at trials.
Right.
So if Shericka is withdrawn, the person that they would have to enter would be the person who finished 4th. So I don't know if they can actually insert Tia in the 100, because the rules, according to what the J3 has said, is the top 3 that qualify as for the individuals, and then the relays are at the discretion of the relay pool, at the discretionary selection committee. I'm not sure that rule applies to an individual spot, because if you give an individual spot to somebody who did not finish the race, then you're creating problems for the person who finished 4th, who is rightly deserving of that spot. So I don't think that's an option that's logical, or that would not create some kind of disruption within the Jamaican camp. Not that would be extraordinary, because the disruption seemed to be the norm. But but I think that if that happens, they would have to probably have had a discussion with the J3s and of course the athlete who finished 4th to determine whether or not that is a viable option to insert Tia instead of Shericka, because MVP doesn't own the spot. That spot was earned by Shericka by finishing 2nd in the championships, and so if Sharika should be withdrawn from the 100, it is not at the discretion of the coach from that club to insert his own athlete. That goes to the athlete who finishes in the next best position at the national championships.
Right. And if you create rules that are designed to make the process clear enough, you don't want to be changing it up. As much as Tia is running fantastically well, if you were to do this, it's the same like if Akeem Blake would have won today and all of a sudden they're like, Brian Level should run the 100 meters because he ran 9.8, right? You know, it could cause some problems, if not this year, certainly in the future, right? Dynamics is saying Matthew Hudson Smith, Jacor Patterson. We didn't even touch on him. He looked really good today. Jerry Richards, big battle in the 400 in Tokyo.
Absolutely. Yeah. I agree with you. Jacor Patterson right now to me looks like the favorite to win gold.
I agree.
43.85 today, a very strong performance. Jareem seems to be trending in the right direction. For the last time he rode, was 44.14. It tells me that he's also moving in that direction where he's probably peaking, definitely peaking for Worlds to run 43 again. Matthew Hudson Smith has been consistently good for the last two, three seasons. Right. And so I think these three actually will be in the conversation. I don't think you can overlook Samakonga though.
Yeah.
Or a couple other guys, but I think I would agree with you that these guys are probably the principal contenders for medals in the 400 meters.
Right. Brian says Noah, big race mentality will trump them all. He shows up, so I don't think we can argue on that. We'll see. Objectivity has a question. Has Kishin regressed? He ran less messy last year, in my opinion.
I don't know. I think last year's PB was 977. This year's 975. I don't think he regressed. I think probably what he's probably struggling with is that, as I said before, when learning how to relax in the last 30 meters of your race is easier said than done.
Right.
That's probably what he's struggling with. So the messiness, what you're seeing is him probably trying to learn how to relax. And in doing that, it breaks his form. And so until he learns how to relax and still generate force, then it's probably didn't look like that until he gets it right. If you look at Oblique, for example, Oblique is able to relax while generating force in that last 30 meters of the race. If Kishian does that, if Kishian learns to do that, he's a 9.6 runner
every day and twice on Sundays. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So what we're seeing is probably him trying to learn how to relax and not being able to do it.
Right.
Not yet, anyway.
And I guess this is a similar question here, I guess, but mostly pointing to Coach Francis not cleaning up running style. I don't have a problem with the twins. I think they're improving. I mean, they're still young. Yeah.
Look, running style. Let me tell you a story. Donovan Bailey, when we were in high school together, you see the same way he won the Olympics in 1996. If you're old enough to remember, I set a world record of 984. That's exactly how he ran in high school. In fact, I hadn't seen him for many years after he migrated to Canada. And when I saw him in Gothenburg in 95, that's how I identified who he was. Exactly the same running style. So the running style is one thing. What is more important is how you can install the mechanics, the proper mechanics within that running style. Because your running style is a lot dependent on what your body is and what it looks like and how your body is configured. What you need to work on then is the proper mechanics within that running style. So I don't think running style is an issue. A big part of what people see with Kishian, for example, is just his sheer size. Kishian is like 6'4", and he's like maybe 210. He's a big guy. So him pushing out of the blocks and running, and the fact that he has his hair bobbing behind him also accentuates the movement of his upper torso. What is really happening is not really his torso moving, but his hair moving in relation to his torso. I'm sure if he cut his hair, he'd look different. What his problem primarily is learning how to then, stop being tight late in races, which then causes his form to break down completely, and then he loses momentum, and then slows down significantly. So yeah,
Right.
but they'll be fine. Um,
I agree. Yeah. Hmm.
I can tell you many athletes who I used to see them run from their kids in high school, and they still run the same way now. If you look at Trayvon Bromell, for example, Trayvon
Right.
Bromell, while his mechanics look cleaner, that's how he used to run earlier. Every time when he was at Baylor or when he was in high school, I remember seeing him at a meet when he was like 15 or 16. That's exactly how he ran.
Michael
Um,
Johnson had a odd
Michael Johnson,
style.
same way. Yeah, yeah.
Clyde Hart
That's
didn't change it. Yeah.
yeah. He's
Unless
just
it's doing something bad. Like I can see the Walaza one. Like everyone
yeah.
should fix that. But otherwise, if it's not doing anything to impact, I don't know if
Yeah,
it's a
because
problem. Yeah.
the basic mechanics is that if you drive your arms past your torso, you're gonna be slowing down. So you drive your
Yeah.
arms to in line with your torso and then drive backwards. Those are some of the simple things that you probably won't see because they're not easily discernible to the naked eye
Right.
if you don't know what you're looking for. But those are some of the simple things that you can fix without changing how you look when you run.
Right.
Shelly has been Shelly, every saw Shelly had champs is the same way Shelly run now. It hurts. Right? Elaine, for example, is the same thing. All that changed with Elaine is that she got stronger and she had some minor tweaks in how she in terms of her cadence and her leg planted under her hip when she was running as opposed to planting in front of her and slowed her down. So it was just simple adjustments.
Right.
But your running style looks pretty much the same way because that's how your body is set up to run.
Yeah. I'll run through some more dynamics. Was that he was just responding to you, just that why he asks. Okay, all in the game is still on me with the 100 meters for Tobago. I mostly agree with everything with you all the time. All in the game. I don't know. I have to think about it still. I think I would say Tobago should start favorites in the 200 based on last year, but this year I'm not quite sure. But if he's just walking around nonchalantly, then he has to show up big time in Tokyo for me.
Yeah.
I'll sleep on it some more to see where we are for that. He's also saying don't sleep on Charlie Dobson. That's true.
No,
We
true.
ran out
Good
40,
guy.
44-14
Mm.
or 44-10 somewhere there. So yeah, good stuff. All right. Uh, I don't know what else. I can look at yours channel too in a second. There, Dynamic is saying we've spoken about it before in the past streams, but seeing Tia today, what would be your 4x1 lineup to maximize the twins? So, Shalyn Fraser Price and Sharika Jackson. Probably still the same for me. I don't know.
To me, when we saw that really in was it London?
Yeah, it was London. Yeah.
Sharika started.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably make Sharika start,
Mm.
and I would make Shelly anchor because I don't think I have to speak to anchor anymore.
Right.
So I'd probably make Shelly run the back stretch again, and put the twins third and fourth.
Right. I mean, selfishly, I would. Well, I don't know if it's selfishly. I still would prefer, and we haven't seen it. A Sharika Jackson on a curve, because that if she runs a curve of her life, I think it would be special for Jamaica. But I don't know if There's always these talks about how you hand over the baton and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know.
No,
Yeah.
she didn't hand about the button badly in London when she started the relay.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, she
So
wasn't terrible. So I mean, the reality is that I think she look Sharika's a 200-meter runner, so the curve
right.
is unnatural for her. So make
Yeah.
her start. Shelly on the back stretch. Whoever's on the back stretch, I think Shelly should be able to handle, even though she's a mere mortal now.
Right.
But run the back stretch and get to Tia, make Tia clean up the curve and then get to her sister and then boom, make Tia.
Yeah, and you might be right on this too, in the sense that if we assume that the Clayton twins might be the two fastest Jamaicans this season, when all is said and done, maybe second, and third, and fourth, they could make up for whatever issues that may be present. But
yeah, because I think whoever starts for the United States, and not for the United States, but if think about it, Great Britain or any other maybe I don't know if Canada is a proper team, But
No,
let's
Great
take
Britain for sure. Dean Asher
yeah,
Smith, Amy
yeah,
Hunt for sure.
yeah,
And they have that
yeah,
youngster.
yeah. What's her name? Success,
And
huh?
yeah, Success.
Who's
Then
usually
Daryl Nita. Yeah.
yeah. Any one of those ladies who start, Sherika should be able to handle any one of those ladies who starts, right? And Shelly might give up some ground on the backstretch, but certainly whatever advantage Sherika provides, then they'd probably claw back from Shelly on the backstretch. But then Tina Clayton on the third leg would probably then pull Jamaica back into contention. And I think, with the exception of Melissa Jefferson, Tina Clayton can run with anybody on the ankle leg.
Yeah.
And that puts Jamaica in a silver medal position. Because there's nobody, I don't think there's nobody on the British team right now who's fast as Tina Clayton. Nobody. And there's nobody on the British team right now who's fast as Tina Clayton.
That's true. But execution is interesting. So I hope they have to work on it, because the British team really good at execution. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the key thing. That ever get this, get some practice in. Yeah. And once you get that practice in, then that setup for me works.
Yeah. I see all in the game is saying Dina handled Sherika in that London race when GB ran 41.69.
But she may have handled her, but to what extent?
Yeah. Maybe it's a different Sherika we get in Tokyo too.
There's a different Sherika in Tokyo, because the last Sherika that we saw was a 22-1 Sherika, who is faster than what we saw in London. Was it London? Where was it that she ran the 22-1?
Who?
Sherika.
In Poland.
Yeah. So you look at a situation where Sherika's run 10.88 this year. Dina's run 10.94. Right? And I suspect that by the time both of them get to Tokyo, both will be faster than they were the last time they met. I think, and I honestly think that Sherika should start. I don't think she's a good anchor. I think she should start and give it to Shelly, because you can't give it to Shelly on the third leg. Shelly's not that great on the curve, and she's not. I don't think she's fast enough anymore to anchor.
Right.
So unless you're going to probably insert somebody like what's her name, Ashanti Moore in the backstretch or something like that, and then give it to the Clayton, because Jamaica has options now. I think in terms of the options for the relay, but I think Jamaica is good enough right now for the silver medal. I think the US is going to be too fast. I think when you look at Kayla White and Melissa Jefferson and that what's her name, Alia Hobbs, and they're just too quick. I think their leg speed is just too good for Jamaica. But I think Jamaica,
I would say they would throw Gabby, but that's not happening given what we know now. And she probably should stay far away from that too.
But I think Jamaica has the speed right now to get a silver medal.
Interesting. I have to think about. I think speed wise, I agree with you. I still have to think through this. I still have them in a bronze position because somehow I feel like it's America, then GB. But I wouldn't be mad at it though. Definitely wouldn't be mad at it.
Let's break it down numbers for numbers. Darren Nita's PB this season is what?
I have to go check. Yeah, it's not faster than the twins for sure.
It's not faster than Shelly, right?
Yeah.
The Clayton twins are third and fourth in the world in terms of time this year, 10.81 and 10.82.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll pull it up to make sure I'm making mistakes. But
Sherika's run 10.88, Shelly 10.91. All right. All of these women, I believe, should be faster in Tokyo. If that's the case, match them speed for speed. I mean, basic speed for basic speed. If you get the stick around on par with Great Britain, are you telling me that Daryl Nita or Dinasha Smith or Amy Hunt can outrun Tina Clayton down the stretch? I don't think so.
No, I don't. I agree with you. I think even a half a meter lead and Tina can pass either one of them on the anchor.
And the Clayton twins have significant experience running relays as well.
Yeah, you're convincing me on this. That's why we like to talk.
Yeah, so I mean, so it's. I mean, again, it comes down to the passing of the stick, and if once the stick is once you can get the stick around, without the stick slowing down, I think
Right.
Jamaica has a very good shot at the bronze medal.
Right.
Not
Yeah, I think
bronze medal,
that
the
at
silver
the
medal.
silver medal, you mean? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
I agree. There's a couple on your channel. Let me just get to them, and maybe next time, I think we can fix it so everything comes on the same. The
yeah,
comments
yeah.
come across. Real A was saying the Twins run the curve already, and it was awful. I'm not quite sure. Yeah, I don't know what's your take on that. Yeah,
Yeah. What's your sample size?
yeah,
Maybe one race. What we've seen from the Twins was that when you saw them earlier this year,
yeah,
they weren't at the World Relays, for example. They were nowhere close to where they are now in terms of their readiness. When they ran the World Relays in what was it, March? They're
yeah. It was yeah.
they're probably still getting into spikes. They were just running there to get the qualification for the World Championships.
Right,
But now they're significantly faster. Remember back then,
right.
the girls were running like 11s,
Yeah,
11, and they're now consistent 10-8 runners.
yeah.
So obviously they're going to be better now. So yeah, so I don't necessarily buy that argument about them running poorly.
All right.
And then when you saw them, for example, well, when they set the world record, Tia that ran the box stretch and Tia anchored. So unless you're gonna make Shelly start, but then that gives away to me an advantage at the start, whereas you get her a running start on the backstretch and then have the two Clayton twins. I mean, look, that's just how I see the setup.
Right.
So maybe if there's a better setup out there, I mean, I'm not going to be
Yeah,
against it.
and I'm sure there'll be a little politicking on it. There'll also be good, healthy conversations about how to line up. New product on your channel was saying if Jamaica used Tia, Ashanti, and Sharika Jackson, Jamaica will threaten for goal.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. Definitely not. And I'm not sure Ashanti gets into it.
Yeah,
But we'll
Melissa
see.
too
Yeah.
fast. And
Yeah.
look, if Melissa anchors right now, Melissa anchors, she runs past anybody Jamaica has an anchor.
Right.
And they will be close because it's
Yeah.
not like we're that much better than
Right.
we're not better than them in any other leagues. And so if even Melissa gets it 2 steps behind Tina Clayton, Melissa running past her, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
It's 10:65. She right now she's 2 tenths faster. That's significant.
Yeah, she has enough in the legs that you meet a lead and she probably still chases them.
Yeah. So that's how I see it.
Yeah, it's going to be competitive.
Yeah, it's a bit competitive, and I think look, the French taught me something back in the 1980s actually, where they used basically 3 10-3 men and 1 10-1 man and run 37-7.
Right.
But it's all about getting the stick around, passing the stick around the right part of the box.
Right.
The outgoing athlete is at top speed when they're leaving the box. If we can get the practice in to allow that to happen, I think Jamaica can contend for silver.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they should be on the podium regardless. I agree. There should, with some good work, they might contend for silver. I like GB chances, but we'll see. I'm
not ruling out Great Britain at all.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I know you're not. Yeah.
The idea that Jamaica is good enough for bronze only, I think, is I don't know. I think Jamaica has enough speed in it, and the women have enough speed right now to win a silver medal, and I think the men have enough speed to win gold. That I'm certain of. I think if we can get Akeem Blake to get one of those good starts and hands off to Oblique Seville and get Brand Level on that third leg and hand off to Shane Thompson, I don't think nobody beats us. Not even, I mean, the USA has speed, yes. Coleman starts with Akeem. I think it's going to be close going. I think on the backstretch, Oblique Seville destroys anybody from the US on the backstretch. I don't care who. And then Brand Level with his newfound speed on the third leg will keep Jamaica in contention. I think Shane gets it ahead of Noah Lyles. From a running start, I don't think Noah Lyles is going to catch him. Probably be close, but I don't think he's going to catch him.
Yeah, no, it should be good. I'm looking forward to that too as well. I think it comes down to great execution. As we know, there's teams, you've seen it before, the Japanese. We can name a bunch of. I think South Africa shouldn't be counted out.
Oh yeah, South
They
Africa
should
has
be in the
plenty.
mix, even with Walaza out. They have a bunch of other guys.
Yeah, third one. What they run this year? 37-61, right?
Yeah.
South Africa, they have the fastest time in the world this year. USA is 37-63 or 37-67.
Yeah.
I think this Jamaican team can actually challenge. Well, I think this Jamaican team, if everybody executes and they get the stick round, I think they can get down to 37-3 or even faster than that. Actually.
Right. I agree with that. I think the beauty about the Jamaica team here is if they can get some good practice in, I think they have some mistakes that they can solve even if it happens, right? Like if they have enough quick guys to fix some errors there. But if they do it perfect, they could win it all, and they could also win it with a time we haven't seen in a long time too.
Yeah, because look, I think by the time we get to Tokyo, I think in realistic terms, Jamaica has 3 97 guys and 1 98 guy on that final 4. I think Akeem is a 98 guy. I think Oblique is a 97 guy. I think Blevel is a 97 guy. And I think Kishem is a 97 guy. At the minimum, I should say. So if they can get some good practice in, maybe 2-3 days of constant practice leading up to the relays, given the fact that they're all going to be fresh as well, because each of them just have one event. So they'll have some time to practice. And if they can get this practice right, I think they have a good shot at winning a gold medal.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've been at it for a while. I know there's comments coming through. You ready to call it? Yeah. It's like
time for me to go take another shower and get some sleep.
Yeah. All right, guys. We appreciate the interaction. There's a bunch of comments still rolling through, but we sorry we couldn't get to all of that. I guess Leighton and I will be back at some other time. I mean, who knows when? We didn't plan this one today, and we planned it at the last minute, and we made it happen, and it's always a pleasure. Don't forget to subscribe to his channel, and we'll run that on the screen. Like the video, subscribe to both channels, and keep those comments coming in. We'll come back for another show at some point. Yeah.
Yep. Thank you, guys. Have a good night. Enjoy your nights. Get some sleep, like me. I'm about to get. So you can see my eyes literally closing down.
Yeah, I gotta do that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Take care, everyone.
Was good as usual. Take it easy. Peace.
All right.